Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Political Science YT. So today we will be starting with Unit 3, that is Transformation in Post-World War II International Relations, and it has two topics: Decline of Bipolarity and Nature of Emerging World Order. So those who have not watched the previous videos, I will paste the link of previous videos in the description box. You can refer to that. So let's get started with topic 1 of Unit 3, that is Decline of Bipolarity. So first of all, we will be talking about the introduction, that before the prevalence of bipolarity, what kind of system prevailed during different centuries. So let's get started. So during the 17th century, there was a prevalence of empire system wherein the monarch was sovereign. Then in 18th century, there was emergence of nation states and the rise of revolutions like American Revolution, French Revolution, Russian Revolution, and German Revolution. And after these revolutions, there was a period of world wars: World War One, 1914 to 1918, and World War Two, 1939 to 1945. After the end of these two world wars, finally there emerged the pole system in international relations. So there were many different types of polarity system, like bipolar, multipolar, unipolar, and new multipolar systems. So specifically relating to the topic, we are talking about bipolarity. So we will be talking about the meaning of bipolarity here. So bipolarity basically refer to the international power structure or the world order having two superpowers who have a substantial influence, and they have a global military and political power. An example of bipolar world order can be the Cold War. It is a classic example of bipolar world order. Then after mentioning this introduction, you can draw this flowchart that during the 18th century there were many kinds of revolutions, like American Revolution 1776, French Revolution 1789, Russian Revolution 1917, German Revolution 1918 to 1919. Then you can mention about the World War period, World War One, then League of Nations failed to prevent World War Two. Finally, Cold War happened, which led to the emergence of two superpowers. Then next flowchart that you can make about is about the polar systems, that is bipolar, unipolar, and new multipolar system. So specifically talking about bipolar system, emergence of two superpowers, that is USA and USSR. Unipolar में only one superpower prevails, that is USA, and USSR was disintegrated. New multipolar system में there are many dominance of many regional groups and countries like USA, Russia, India, UK, France, and groups like G7, G20, NAM, ASEAN, BRICS, and European Union. After that, you can quote these definitions in your answer. That will fetch you very good marks. That according to Kenneth Walt and according to George F. Kennan, these are different international thinkers who have quoted the meaning of bipolarity through their definitions. So you can mention them in your answers. Then alliances during the period of bipolarity. So this question can come for short answers as well. That there were two superpowers, USA and USSR. So mention any two military alliance for USA, or mention any two military alliance of USSR. So ये क्वेश्चन शॉर्ट आंसर्स के लिए आ सकते हैं. सो यूएसए की जो मिलिट्री अलाइंसेस थी वो थी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ अमेरिकन स्टेट्स, NATO, very famous, North Atlantic Treaty Organization 1949, SEATO, South East Asian Treaty Organization. इनको एक्सपैंड करना भी आ सकते हैं, लाइक फुल फॉर्म लिखने होंगे. एनएस, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, न्यूजीलैंड, यूएस 1951, डिफेंस ट्रीटी विद साउथ कोरिया 1953. यूएसएसआर की लकीली टू ही अलाइंसेज है. साइनो सोवियन ट्रीटी 1950 किसके साथ थी? विद रिपब्लिक ऑफ चाइना. Then Warsaw Pact in 1955 with communist states of Eastern Europe, and Warsaw Pact was basically made to counter NATO. Then comes the nature or the characteristics of bipolarity. अगर क्वेश्चन में नहीं भी पूछा जाए ना कि हमने नेचर या कैरेक्टरिस्टिक लिखनी है, नहीं, सो यू कैन मेक योर ओन पॉइंट्स एज वेल. इट विल पुट अ गुड इम्प्रेशन ऑन द एग्जामिनर कि बच्चे ने पहले सारा एक्सप्लेन करा है, देन इंट्रोडक्शन, देन फ्लो चार्ट, डेफिनेशन, देन फाइनली नेचर एंड कैरेक्टरिस्टिक, फाइनली फिर हमने डिक्लाइन पे आना है. ठीक है, अगर ऐसे लिखोगे तो यू विल गेट गुड मार्क्स. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ बाइपोलैरिटी. प्रेवलेंस ऑफ टू सुपर पावर्स का होना ज़रूरी होता है फॉर बाइपोलैरिटी सिस्टम टू एग्जिस्ट, दैट इज़ यूएसए एंड यूएसएसआर ड्यूरिंग कोल्ड वॉर. प्रेवलेंस ऑफ टू ब्लॉक्स, वेस्टर्न ब्लॉक एंड ईस्टर्न ब्लॉक था. प्रेवलेंस ऑफ मिलिट्री अलाइंसेज, अभी हमने पिछली स्लाइड में पढ़ा कि यूएसए की नाटो, मेनली नाटो, एंड यूएसएसआर वार्सो पैक्ट. नो प्रेवलेंस ऑफ न्यूट्रलिटी, all the countries they sided with either of the blocks. Then wide proliferation of weapons, they have a good military capability and a nuclear nation, and both of the superpowers they accepted the principle that those countries which are not with them, they are against them. Then comes the factors that led to the emergence of bipolarity. So World War II was a factor that led to emergence of World War II. That after World War II there was prevalence of two superpowers, USA and USSR, and they exercised their dominance all over the world after World War II. Then Cold War. Cold War was also responsible for the emergence of bipolar international power structure, as there was rise of two superpowers, USA and USSR. Rise of superpowers, an important feature or factor that led to emergence of bipolarity system. USA and USSR were the two superpowers. Ideological divide, as USA followed the ideology of capitalism, USSR followed the capital of ideology of communism. Formation of military alliances, USA, NATO, C2, CEN2, and USSR Warsaw Pact. Nuclear proliferation, they had a wide nuclear proliferation and had adequate means of weapons and warheads, had a good military strength. Arms race, there was a good arms race as they were capable of having a deterrence policy, as they could equally fight against one another and cause same amount of harm to each other, harm and destruction to each other. Space race, they have achieved a great success in space race also, which led to their emergence as two superpowers and finally leading to bipolarity. There were many proxy wars like Korean crisis, which led to the emergence of bipolar international power structure. Then economic influence of the superpowers. There was a great economic influence of the superpowers. They used to control all the economy, trade and commerce among the countries during that period. Competition for development. Both the superpowers, they had a wide competition for development. Balance of power. So during bipolarity, there was an equal distribution of power. There was no single nation who was dominating the other countries. So it led to the emergence of bipolarity. Then power vacuum in Europe led to emergence of bipolarity system, as earlier there was a Eurocentric international power structure wherein Europe was dominant, but once there was power vacuum in Europe, which led to emergence of two superpowers, that is USA and USSR. Then comes the factors that led to decline of bipolarity. First one is economic challenges. Economic stagnation in Soviet Union, it had reduced the strength of Western countries and had weakened the Soviet Union as a superpower. End of Cold War. After the end of Cold War, there was dissolution of Soviet Union, so it effectively ended the bipolar structure. Then comes the end of colonialism. That after the end of colonialism, the newly independent countries, they maintain neutrality and they avoid alignment with any of the power. It was also one of the factors that led to decline of bipolarity. Then comes the Sino-Soviet Treaty or Sino-Soviet split. So there was a major split between Soviet Union and China, and it reduced the unity of the communist bloc and reduced the Soviet Union superpowers status and influence. So thereby it resulted in ending bipolarity. Then come European integration. European integration process included the formation of European Union, and Europe was made economically powerful, and so it and the you know the superpowers presence was reduced due to European integration, as European Union was emerging as a regional power. Then come disintegration of USSR, as due to economic stagnation, military arsenal, and political unaccountability, USSR disintegrated. So there was only one superpower left. So it led to decline of bipolarity. Then come rise of China. Not only China, rise of many regional powers like India, Brazil, China. It contributed in leading to decline of bipolarity. There were many superpowers who were dominating. They were not superpowers, there were many powers who were dominating. Globalization due to increased interconnectedness with the world. It was a big challenge to maintain bipolar division, as each nation was capable of every nation was capable in terms of economic sphere, military spheres, nuclear fields. Then technological advances. There was advances in communication and information technology, and it facilitated global interactions and diplomacy outside the confines of bipolar alliances. Then shift in global threats. So perception of global threats shifted from bipolar military confrontation to issues like terrorism, climate change, and pandemics. Emergence of unipolar world. सो जो पावर रिलेशंस थी वो चेंज हो गई थी व्हेन विद द एंड ऑफ कोल्ड वॉर, और सिर्फ यूएसए वाज लेफ्ट एज एन ओनली सुपर पावर. देन कम्स द इमर्जेंस ऑफ regional powers like India, China, Brazil. So they had a greater role in global stage, contributing to a multipolar world. End of ideological competition. So with the end of Cold War, the ideological rivalry between capitalism and communism, it came to an end, which finally resulted in the decline of bipolarity. Then NATO's expansion. Earlier NATO has 15 members. Its expansion resulted in joining of 30 members, and recently Finland has joined NATO as a 31st member as of 4th of April 2023, and it reduced the Eastern Bloc's countries' influence, so again leading to unipolarity. Then rise of non-state actors. Here non-state actors refers to the NGOs, MNCs, terrorist groups. Then shift in balance of power. So due to the disintegration of USSR, there was an end of balance of power, as balance of power was shifted to only one superpower, that is USA. Then global spread of information technology. There was an increased flow of information, which basically led to awareness of democratic principles and leading to decline in bipolarity. Then comes the role and the dominance of USA, as USA was left as only sole power. So it resulted in decline of superpower, as in the polar system we have already studied that a country having only one country which is dominated, it comes under unipolar world. So bipolar system was declining and it was paving way for the unipolar world. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more such content. Thank you so much for your time.